Hi, my name is Gabe Evans, and this is Jazz Moments. I'm going to give you an exercise now that's going to help you to get more chromaticism into your lines, your solo lines. And this could be for piano, or it could be saxophone, or any instrument that you're playing lines on, trying to get more of that bebop sound in your playing. So if we rely completely on our ears, which is a wonderful thing to do, we tend to hear things diatonically. For example, a G minor chord that's what our ears tend to go to. We hear the scalar content like that without really those nooks and crannies that we hear in the bebop players. So here's a way to get more of that chromaticism into your playing. There are 3 rules to this exercise. 1, we want to play continuous eighth notes. Now, if you're playing a horn, or of course you take the horn out of your mouth and breathe. You don't want to pass out while doing this. But generally, you're trying to play continuous eighth notes. 2, you are only allowed to move by either whole step or half step. You can never go farther than that. And 3, you have to go one direction for at least an octave and a half before you change directions. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you an example of exactly how this works. You could do it over any standard. It doesn't make any difference. So following my rules here, I could just play a chromatic scale. So I'm going to play a 2-5-1 progression in the key of F. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, turning around. Now, that's actually not a bad exercise to do, just playing a chromatic scale. It's good to kind of get you moving, feeling the eighth notes, feeling those chromatic, those little kind of, I think of them as nooks and crannies, little getting in between the notes there. But of course, that's not really the sound ultimately that we're going for. We need to play the chord changes. So, to add a 4th little component to this exercise, we want our downbeats to land on chord or scale tones, and we want the upbeats to be the chromatic tones. So the leading tones, the leading tones. So here it is again, and this time I'm going to try to land on chord tones or scale tones for the downbeats and use the chromaticism for passing notes, okay? Once again, a 2-5-1 in the key of F, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This is not an exact science, so if you understand the basic idea of this exercise and you set your metronome very slowly, your ears will naturally guide you to find those good tones that are going to help you to play the chord changes. If we speed up, you practice this for a while. This doesn't happen in a week or 2 weeks. This happens over the course of 6 months, 8 months. You do this exercise a little bit every day, and eventually you end up kind of getting this kind of sound. A 1, a 2, 3, 4. So you take this language of bebop, and what you do is you start carving out little sections of it, and eventually, and then you start changing directions a little bit every now and then, and you get something like this. A 1, 2, 3, 4. This exercise is absolutely foolproof. It's not easy, but what I mean by that is you can use it over a minor 2-5-1. You can really use it over just about anything. But remember, the key components are to practice this very slowly. And again, to those 3 rules, to review them, you can only move by whole step or half step. You want to play continuous eighth notes, and you want to go one direction for 1.5 octaves at least before you change directions. You don't need to change directions at any particular point. It doesn't really matter. Let your ears guide you. And and the last thing I wanted to mention about this is it doesn't necessarily have to be a swing feel. It's the same thing. We can still do it over a straight feel. So, for example, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... I hope you find this exercise helpful. My students of all levels I've seen them benefit greatly from this. It's really helpful to get that chromatic sound into your playing, and it's not as formulaic as, say, learning a bebop scale or something like that. It's fun, so enjoy practicing. Thank you for watching.